You know, when you first get your driver's license, people have prepped you on how to change your flat tire or how to deal with a dead battery. And you think you know what you're doing, but when it actually happens, you panic. Well, I have many clients who have registered for GST and HST, and then when it comes to actually filing their return or even collecting GST and HST, they panic. They don't know what to do. My name is Rushabh Kamesra, and I'm a partner at SRJ Chartered Accountants. This video is part 2 of a 4-part series of the basics of GST and HST. Today, I would like to speak to you about how to collect GST and HST and introduce you to the concept of an input tax credit. So you're now registered for GST and HST, and you're wondering, what are the next steps to proceed? Well, I'm going to first go through some basic housekeeping rules to get started. Firstly, it's very important to clearly indicate your GST and HST number on all your sales invoices. Now, this number doesn't have to be too big or too small, just clearly listed and clearly visible to both yourself and your customers. The second housekeeping rule we're going to be looking at is how much do you collect? Well, the amount of GST, HST you collect is dependent on the province on where your customer is located. We're going to go through this by using 3 specific examples later on in this video. But first, let's look at the GST and HST rates throughout Canada and the different provinces and territories. Currently, the GST and HST rate for each province and territory in Canada are as follows. In the provinces of Alberta, British Columbia, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Northwest Territories, Yukon, Nunavut, and Quebec, we charge a rate of 5%. In Ontario, we charge a rate of 13%. In the provinces of New Brunswick, Newfoundland, Prince Edward Island, and Nova Scotia, we charge a rate of 15%. Let's better clarify these concepts through the use of examples. Example number 1. Yo-Yo is located in Windsor, Ontario, and manufactures and distributes 3D printers. He just received a large sales order from a customer in Toronto and is wondering how much GST and HST he should be charging. As his customer is based in Ontario and the rate of HST in Ontario is 13%, Yo-Yo should be charging 13% on all goods and services provided to his customers in Ontario. Let's go look at a second example. Johnny provides remote IT services and is located in Edmonton, Alberta. Johnny just engaged a new contract with a customer located in Halifax, Nova Scotia. The GST rate in Alberta is 5%, however, the HST rate in Nova Scotia is 15%, so Johnny is wondering how much GST and HST he should be charging. As the rules specify, we should be charging GST and HST based on the province of where our customer is located. As Johnny's new customer is located in Nova Scotia, and the rate of HST in Nova Scotia is 15%, Johnny should be charging 15% GST and HST on all sales made to that province. Let's look at example number 3. Mr. Kim is a world-renowned architect and just secured a new contract in Osaka, Japan. Mr. Kim is wondering how much GST or HST he should be charging his customer in Osaka, Japan. As Japan is outside of the borders of Canada, the prescribed GST and HST rate is nil or exempt, and therefore no GST or HST needs to be charged on the sale made to Mr. Kim's customer in Osaka, Japan. Now that we know how much GST and HST we need to collect, let's look at the concept known as an input tax credit or ITC. ITC, or otherwise known as an input tax credit, is the amount of GST and HST that you can recover based on the GST and HST you paid when you make purchases of goods and services throughout your business. To better explain this concept, let's look at it by way of example. Let's say you're a business located in Ontario and went to the local office supply store and bought $100 plus HST of office supplies for your business. In essence, you paid $13 in HST, and this $13 represents the input tax credit or ITC you may be able to claim when submitting your GST and HST return. We're going to go through the concept of ITCs as well as the concept of collecting and remitting GST and HST returns later on in this series. So what are the main factors to consider when deciding to collect GST and HST? Well, let's take a look. Number 1, your GST and HST number should be clearly labeled on all your invoices that you provide your customer. Number 2, the amount of GST and HST should be dependent on the province of where your customer is located. And finally, we briefly explained to you the concept of an input tax credit and how much GST and HST you may be able to recover when you file your GST and HST returns. GST and HST can be a complicated issue, and especially so if you change the products and services you provide. This may impact how much GST and HST you have to collect. We at SRJ are the subject matter expertise when it comes to GST and HST, and would love to have a free consultation on how GST and HST affects you and your business. Feel free to contact us below via the links provided and schedule an appointment to meet with us. We look forward to speaking with you.